Is it going already? Hello, it's Heather with R-Rated Reviews and R-Rated DIY. And I wanted to do a project, a small project that is really fun. I know I mentioned previously in my last live stream, I gave you guys some options on things that you could choose for me to do. And there's one particular option. I don't know, it wasn't a popular one, and I don't know if I really explained it properly. So I was gonna do a small project today, and I figured, why not share it with you? You can either choose to try it or not. I happen to love decoupage, and I think that it's underrated. I think it's often overlooked. I also think what you can do with it is misunderstood. I'm going to show you a few pieces that I made in the past, and then I'm going to make one or two pieces and show you how to do it. But I'm going to give you some really good ideas on other ways to use it that I don't think too many people, I mean, maybe people that are really into decoupage would think of it, but I haven't seen too much with it. Most of the time you see it in vases and, jars and things like that. So I have this vase, and I'm going to decorate this one today. I've also made trinket dishes and things. What I'd like to do, I'm going to show you the first decoupage piece I ever made. And the reason I call this, like, if I'm stressed out or I just want to do something mindless, I shouldn't call it mindless because it's not. It's just that decoupage is so much fun and you really can't get it wrong. So this is the first vase that I ever made. It's one of those wine decanters that has like the raised glass emblem on it. It came out a little darker than I wanted it to, but I believe that's because I spray painted the glass, and I learned not to do that because you're better off using clear usually, or at least a light color. So it's got peacocks on it, and you can't really tell because it's a little bit dark, but it's still really pretty. I like it. But there are so many different ways to use it. So this is a different one that I did. This one has birds. It has a peacock on the other side of it. And these are done with luncheon napkins. This one is like all blue, still birds. It's got some lemons I mixed. It's got an owl on the back. It's got birds in here. One of the places, I kind of like, this is a little one, but here's, I'm going to try not to hop around. I actually did. I'm a few minutes late. Hi, Grant. How are you? I'm looking fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. One of the, I'm off verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. I actually prepped. I was a few minutes late because I actually did a little prep work so that I'm not like completely scattered trying to show you guys something on a live feed, because it's so different than when you're recording and you can just pause it and go back and, merge stuff. This is another little vase, but this one has it's flowers. It's with a luncheon napkin, but I mix them. One of the places that I get some of the most absolutely, hello Zella Carvalho, hello. Who's creepy guy? Hi, creepy guy. Oh, creeper guy. Hi. Casey Lynn Sorrell, hello. Hi, everybody. So one of the places that I get the most gorgeous napkins, I don't know if you can give napkins that much credit, but I'm going to show you some, is on eBay. There are sellers on eBay that specialize in nothing but luncheon napkins. Hello, CJ Plays. My day, I didn't work today. How was my day today? My day was relaxing. It takes all day to do nothing, and I did nothing today. I watched Eminem videos on YouTube. I never, ever watched rap. I never listened to rap. I was like a closet, like Snoop Dogg fan. I didn't own any of the music, but I always liked watching Snoop Dogg and listening to him, but I've never been a rap fan. And the last like year or two, I've become obsessed with Eminem and just learning all about him. So I bought a bunch of his albums on like vinyl and shit. So I watched Eminem videos all day. Little Sparkalicious. I've been watching his history. In fact, I had to stop myself from watching one of the videos. I was in the middle of it, and I'm like, oh, I can't leave that on and do a live feed because I'm not using my camera. So I started a folder. I have a playlist on my phone. It's called Eminem. It's all like live duets, whatever. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So that's what I did today. I went across the street to my neighbor's house, and I fed their goats treats and their chickens and their cows. So the napkins that are sold on eBay are luncheon napkins. You can buy them anywhere, but they're not that easy to find in really pretty patterns and colors and all kinds of stuff. And you can buy them in themes. Here's the thing. You can go down a rabbit hole when you get on eBay because the people that sell these napkins sell just about nothing but these napkins, and they have hundreds to thousands of selections. Hello. So I have one daughter that played piano, French horn, and mellophone, and she loved music. So I got luncheon napkins that had a piano. I had one with a saxophone with music notes and piano keys. I actually got a napkin that's just like, it looks like sheet music. So you can do themes and make little gifts for people. And it's such an inexpensive craft and project to do because aside from napkins, the only thing you need is Modge Podge. They sell this at Walmart. I'm a little disappointed that this jar is matte. I used up all my shiny or gloss, but it's still fine because I can always spray it afterwards. This is like maybe $5 and it goes a long way. I bought a bag of chip brushes. They're the little wooden disposable 1.5-inch brushes. I get a bag of 15 of them from Home Depot for like $7 or $8. And I just bought a bag and I don't know what I did with them. So I'm just going to use a regular paintbrush. I'm not going to use one of my really good ones, but it's a water-based product that's really easy to rinse out and clean up. So other napkins, a paintbrush, Modge Podge, and where I've gotten a lot of these vases and vases from is like the Rescue Mission or Salvation Army. You go to like thrift shops, they usually sell them for about $1. I've noticed that the prices in the thrift shops have been going up. Sometimes like to get one like this is going to be like $3. The Dollar Tree carries them. And they're fucking changing their prices too, which pisses me off. I can't figure out what color they're putting tags on shit now, like red circle. It's not all $1 or $1.25 anymore. But they have a variety of vases available at the Dollar Tree. They're all clear. You can get a bud vase. I got this 99 cents at the thrift shop. If it's 99 cents, get it. If it's any more than that, you might be able to find it at the Dollar Tree. So this is, I made this one with some peacock feathers on it. But here's where I think it gets more unique. And there are some ideas and suggestions that I have that maybe you're not aware of. So I burn candles like crazy. And some of the candles I get, I've told you guys, go to Macy's Backstage. They have a ridiculous amount of candles and absolutely beautiful, delicious fragrances for a fraction of what anyone sells candles for. Their prices are like Walmart, but they come in beautiful jars, different shapes. They come with lids. This is beautiful. This is almost burned. I don't want to throw this away. I'm going to because I have too many of them. But I can show you how you can put Modge Podge on this. I did it with a little metal tin. This was a candle holder that I got from, it was either Hobby Lobby or At Home. It's a metal tin. It was up in my office for like 2 years in a box. I just found all this stuff the other day. So this one got a little stuck. But, okay. This was a metal can that a candle came in. It had a lid, and I had someone that loved lemons. So I got lemon napkins, and I did a Modge Podge. I did a Decoupage little container for her. And this is a candle holder. So you get the candle, you buy it anyway, burn it, save it, then you don't even have to buy a vase. Now this, I have 3 of these. I must have painted these. They were a different color. They're spray painted. I must have started this and then didn't finish. This was a set of 3, like either canisters or whatever you want to put, cotton balls, Q-tips. I did the decoupage in different patterns on different sides with a similar color theme. That's the best part. They don't have to match. I didn't finish this last one. And then if I do, either I'll give them to somebody or you can put them out or keep them in your cabinet. I mean, you can put, if you have a barbecue in the summer, it's like forks, spoons, knives, cotton balls, Q-tips, whatever. But one of the other things I did was this metal tin. I found this, I think somebody sent me like a gift and it came in this. And instead of throwing it away, I decoupaged it. So one side has birds, the other side has sunflowers because I love sunflowers. It's got chickens because, you know, I love my chickens. I got one roaming around my house right now. And then I just put some flowers like Japanese cherry blossom on one side. And I got some, but you can put this on the back of your toilet with your tissues in it, or keep it with your bath, you know, your shampoo and conditioner and your little bath shit. or give it to somebody. You can do anything with them. Put napkins in it for your barbecue. But this is a candle that I just got from Macy's that I haven't finished burning. I actually just started burning it. Look at the shape of this. It's so pretty. Best ice cream topping. What's the best? Oh no, shut up, AI. AI is telling me to add stickers. I don't know what the fuck ice cream shopping is. Sorry. I weighed Val. So for example, this is one of these Macy's backstage candles. This one was $12.99. Most of the candles I buy are like $5.99, $6.99. But it has a beautiful lid. You can keep the tassel if you want to. You can either leave the logo of this plate on it or take it off, but it's got a really nice shape. It smells so fucking good. When this is done, I might make something out of this. But I thought that for today, I would decoupage this base, and I'll show you. I go to the inside when I wrap it, and it's sort of waterproof. It's like water resistant. When I put flowers in it, so what I do with these is I make these, and then in the summertime when I do a lot of landscaping and my gardens are in full bloom, I will cut and make the most gorgeous flower arrangements. And if I have a client's house that I'm going to that I really like, I'll give them a vase with the flowers in it, and then when the flowers die, they get to keep the vase. Just like a little fun thing. This one is one of my favorite vases. This one I did for my kitchen table. So this is peacocks, flowers, and I love flowers. It's peonies, carnations. Oh, it's hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas. So I put the peacock on it. I'll put flowers in this, whatever. But the napkins I get, I have purchased packages of luncheon napkins on clearance in Hobby Lobby or wherever you can shop that they sell this stuff. Sometimes I'll purchase just the plain ones as a background. These, I love these too, the blue and white, almost like a toile. These you can get much cheaper, but for really unique napkins, I would definitely recommend eBay. So some of the napkins I've gotten from them are just stunning. Now, I don't really like these napkins. I think these are ugly, but I like the border. So I cut the border out and I use that. I think that's on one of these bases that I showed you. So they don't have to actually be a whole napkin with a pattern or a theme. You can just use the stuff for background. Here's another one. I think this is Hobby Lobby. This is a Hobby Lobby package napkin. If I wanted to do something with this as a background. And then I bought I love these hydrangea ones. Little boutique shops sometimes sell stuff like that. But some of the napkins I've gotten from eBay, they're just beautiful. Look at that paisley. And then the rooster, really pretty flowers. This one I love this one. So this is I got a package of, these are actually bathroom, guest bathroom hand towels to dry your hands. But I love the ones that just have the words. I was actually thinking about decoupaging a wall in my house, but it would take too much for me to do it, and I'd actually have to have a specific theme and stick to it and have enough napkins to do it. And I just haven't ever done it. So what I'm going to do, I did do some prep. I was telling you I did some prep. There's another nice package. I cut up a bunch of napkins before I started because that's the most time-consuming part of the process. The rest of it is fast and it's easy. So I have this napkin. I pulled out a few that are similar in theme. I love this napkin. It just says be in venue. And then it's got some other words on it and stuff. The cool thing about them is that they're folded. They all fold in four like regular napkins. So I had already cut them into quarters. So this is a quarter of one napkin. So you can get a lot out of a napkin because they're like $2 for 2 napkins. And you can go down that rabbit hole on eBay. You start looking at them and you're like, oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. And before you know it, you got 36, 40 different kinds of napkins in your cart and you're at $80 for napkins and you're getting 2 of each. So I've had to narrow down my selection many times. Sometimes at the end, I will tie a piece of burlap around the neck of the bottle to make it a little bit different and unique. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what I'm going to make this one. So I cut out, this is the original pattern. And what I did was I cut out just this portion. I have all of the other words and stuff still here, but they're cut up separately. because I will place those around the vase wherever I want them. One of the most important things to do before you actually stick the napkins on your glass is to separate them into one layer. I cut them when they're 2 layers because they're easier to cut. You need sharp scissors. If you can't get them apart, you can usually just get them apart, but if you can't, lick your fingers, touch the napkin, like pinch it, and then just let go. And as soon as you let go, you can hear it start to separate. And if you think there aren't 2 layers, there are. This one actually has 3 layers. So I'm going to take this one off. That's trash. And now this one actually has 3, so I'm going to take this one off. One little piece left. Okay. So this all goes in the garbage because it's just plain white. And now what you're left with is this very thin, sheer, 1-layer napkin. I also want to put like a background. I don't want a background behind this because it's very thin and then you'll see the background and you won't see the pattern so much. But you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can't do it wrong because it's just so fucking pretty. So I have found that I'm loving like the darker turquoises and teals now. So I'm going to use this as my background in one, like, and part of it, but I'm going to mix it with this one because that's just what I want to do. And I forgot to cut this one, but this one's easy because I'm not going to, and you could, if you really wanted to get detailed, you could actually cut out the flowers and not use the background, but it kind of defeats the purpose of having this beautiful color. So I'm going to, and if I want to use a really big sheet to wrap, hi Jamie Lee, I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing well. How are you? If I pinch this, I can separate it. Now, you don't have to cut it into quarters. If I want to do a big section of it, then I'm going to leave it in like a half a sheet because you'll see you can wrap almost the whole base in it. So I'm going to get started and show you how easy and fun this can be. I actually have an old vintage hard case purse with a handle on top that's decoupage, and it was like, I guess whatever designer made them at the time, but somebody was like selling vintage antique shit at a yard sale, and I love this pocketbook. It's a box, like with pegs on the bottom with a handle, and it's decoupage. I fucking love it. So I'm going with my paintbrush. Here's my paintbrush. This stuff is so easy to use. I decoupage the glass, and then I put the napkin on, and then I decoupage the napkin again. The only thing, you're good. I'm glad that you're good. The only thing you have to be careful of is sometimes when the napkin is on there and it gets really wet with the Modge Podge, you just have to be a little more gentle with the paintbrush because you can tear the napkin. If you tear the napkin, you can fix it. Don't touch it with your fingers. You just take the brush and you sort of shove it back gently in the opposite direction. You won't even see it when it dries. Or you can cut out another piece of napkin that matches that spot and just stick it on there. So I'm going to cover, like, I'm going to go around like 2/3 to 3/4 because I'm going to wrap the whole bottom of this in that one big piece I took off, but I want to leave an opening for the big cutout that I did, this one. This is going to go by itself. So now I just brush some on. Did I drop it? Where'd it go? Here it is. And it doesn't matter if it wrinkles. If you don't want wrinkles, you can work the wrinkles out, and I'll show you that. But you're just going to stick this on here. I tend to go a little bit past the bottom just so that it wraps nicely. And see how it's not sticking? I'll just hit it with more Modge Podge. And I'm going to try to keep it a little bit smooth because this vase has like edges on it, and I think it'll look cool, like wrapping a present and getting to keep the shape of the box. And then this is going to have like a little edge here. And then I'm going to push this on. Nah, it didn't want to work. So I'm just going to do it the way the napkin wants to go. And I'll just keep it flat and smooth in as many places as I can. Put that there. And now I'm going to Modge Podge. Let me move this. I'm going to Modge Podge over it. So this way, if you're at this side of the napkin, you're going to go up because you want to flatten it against the glass. You could just put a bunch on here, get it nice and juicy, get it moist, and then you can flatten this out. You can actually cut that off if you want to, but if you flatten it out really well, you won't see it when it's dry because it just looks cool. They all have like overlapping layers. There are times I want it to be more smooth and I will cut it, but I want to go down the bottom. I'm going to put a little at the bottom of the vase and then stick this on here. I'll put this way. Get a little under here. Push that down. And then this way, I'm going to go up. If you go in the wrong direction of the napkin, that is when you're more inclined to tear it. And that doesn't really start happening until you really get into it and you've got layers and layers going over it. And it's like the stuff underneath gets so wet that it could start to tear. But it's pretty forgiving. I mean, this is why I call it mindless. You just can't fuck it up. And then this is going to go. So now this part is where I want to end it. I made the piece. I didn't cut any of it. But because this is going to get, I'm going to get this wet. And now see how this is wrinkles? I'm going to take this and very gently smooth those wrinkles out. And then put a little more at the bottom. So bring this here. But now that this is wet, I don't have to cut it. I can just sort of, oh, wait, I ripped it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to fix it. I hit it too hard and I ripped it. But it's all bunched up here. So you can just and then I'm going to put a little more. Now I'm just going to dab. The more Modge Podge you use, the more it stays in place when you have to fix it. Okay. Ooh, crisis averted. See, it's so forgiving. All right, let me get some more Modge Podge on here. Because when it rips, if it's going to rip, it's usually because it's damp, but it doesn't have enough Modge Podge on it. When it's really gummed up with the Modge Podge, you can pretty much slide it around the glass, move it where you want it to. But if it's like a glue. So if it's gonna dry, then it's gonna start sticking. And when you try to move it, I just fucking did it again. But I can fix it again. And now I have to remind myself to stay away from that spot. So leave it alone. But the reason I did that is because I didn't cut this and I don't want to go any further. So now that that's on there, I can. I just put it on top of the napkin. All right. So I'm going to, let me put this out of the way. I'm going to stick my finger on here and just tear it. And it just tears wherever the Modge Podge was wet. So, because I didn't leave myself enough of a space to put the other pattern on, and you won't see it if I have this on the bottom. So now I'm going to put some more Modge Podge right on the glass, get this all stuck down, and then this piece right here is going to get this one. So I'm going to lay it on there. And then, okay, so I have it on. It's still up in the air. I don't want to touch it too much with my fingers because it becomes really delicate. Remember, these are really sheer napkins now because I've taken all the layers off. And now I'm going to hit it with the Modge Podge, and it overlaps some of the background I did, which is fine. And then I don't want the word wrinkled, so I'm going to go back and smooth this out. And by the way, no matter how much white glue or Modge Podge you see on this, it dries clear. So we have this, and I'm going to give it a tiny little tug, straighten that out. And then smooth this section here. All right, so that's on. Okay, I'm going to get more Modge Podge on here. And it hardens. When it dries, it hardens shiny and clear. No matter how many layers you put on it, it's going to dry clear. And I will do lots and lots of layers of the Modge Podge. I'm going to get these napkins out of the way so I don't destroy it. I put paper down on my table, which I don't normally do. I usually just make a mess. But I was trying to be a little neater. And putting this on paper isn't going to be helpful. So I'm going to put the lid of the Modge Podge down because it's plastic. And then I can rest this on there. And I'm less likely to have it stick to the paper on the table and rip the paper off the bottom of it. So the top of this is going to get this pattern. And then I'm going to scatter. Remember the words I told you I had saved? I cut the words out. I'll scatter those around wherever I want them. So I'm going to cut this one quick. This one probably just needs a quarter of a napkin because the neck of the bottle is narrow. And these, you have to have sharp scissors. These are sharp, but they suck because I tried to use them as a screwdriver and I broke the tips off. So I have to, first I have to stop doing that, but I have to get new scissors again. All right, so here's my quarter of a napkin. And because my fingers are already sticky from the Modge Podge, I just pinch it and it separates the tiniest little bit. I pull the layer off and I'm going to put this here. And then I'm going to Modge Podge the neck. Now, when it comes to the neck, I do go over to the inside of the vase so that the napkin, it doesn't have like an edge at the top and it looks finished. I don't go all the way down, but I'll go about this far. That way, if I put water in it, once it's dry and all set, you can put water in it for flowers. And the Modge Podge feels like it gets like a little bit gummy when the water's in there. But then when it dries, it just hardens back up. So it's sort of water resistant. And now this, I'm going to need more than this. But since it's too high this way, but not big enough this way, I'm just going to cut this into 2 rows. And then I can wrap it. So I'm going to put this here. Put that on there. And then I will take this one. I'm going to cut this again because I only need a piece about this big. Oh, son of a bitch, I forgot to take the back of the fucking napkin off. I thought I did that. All right. See, it won't stick if you have the back on it. All right, got that. And even though I'm not matching up the pattern, you will not see that. It's not like wallpaper where it looks stupid if you don't match up the pattern. So now for the top, where I didn't have enough here, just want to make sure I get all the back of the napkin off. There is another layer. Okay. So now I'm going to cut this again, like this. I'm going to add a little Modge Podge to here. Stick that on there, get it behind it, and then, actually, before I put that on, I'm going to add Modge Podge all around this. So that this neck is flatter because it's bubbling up. I'm going to smooth this out. I kind of like this one wrinkled. It looks cool. Oh. And then I'm going to put a little on the inside so that when I wrap it over the top, it stays. Because that's one place that it can rip, is when you're trying to bring it over the top edge. If you don't have enough Modge Podge and it tears, it's a little harder to fix that than when it's on flat glass. It's still forgiving, but I'm trying to help you. If you do this, I'm trying to help you avoid the mistakes that I've made so that you don't have to make them. All right, this is nice and flat now. I have my Modge Podge. So now I'm just going to stick this here. And then fold it over the top. Spin it. Put this one here. And fold it over the top. Do you guys have any? Thank you very much. Who is that? Is it Yazin you took? I have to find. Oh, I have my glasses on. Hello. Thank you. Nice work. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank Jamie. You subscribed to my channel. So I'll actually tell you guys quickly, most of my channel isn't really like crafts. I do some crafting stuff. She's crafting. I'm definitely crafting. My channel is mostly like tool reviews, which has morphed into a lot of DIY projects. So I do a lot of home projects, which DIY crafting sort of go into a very similar space. I need a little bit of another bigger piece. So there's all kinds of shit, but I'll do reviews on people too. I did a review on women. Stop being bitches. Dating. There's only a couple of those. They're mostly tools and DIY. So I just need a small piece for right here. I'm not even cutting this anymore. I lose my patience. That's why I love Modge Podge. You can just do whatever you want with Modge Podge. Decoupage, because you can just do what you want. I'll stick this here and then wrap that. And the reason I wanted to hurry up and do this one spot is because I noticed that one of the areas I want this to be straight is where, just for this particular one, I want it to go, the neck of the bend in the neck, I want it to go straight. I missed a spot here, and it's a little crooked because it's round. So I'm not really going to cut a ton of napkins but I'm going to patch it. So I'm going to take this piece and just stick it here where it's straight, right over the existing napkin. You won't see it. In fact, sometimes it just makes the pattern darker so you can actually see it better. I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to say this looks too low. This spot here looks a little uneven. So I'm going to put another piece here. And I'm going to make sure that it is at the same level as the one over here. So it's a little crooked. I'll straighten that out. And then I'm going to add my Modge Podge. Look at this. Look at this space I missed. See how I missed? There's like a gap in the pattern. Now that will show. If you leave something empty, it'll show. But if you go over it and the pattern doesn't match exactly, it sort of like blends. So I don't need this whole piece here. So I'm going to tear off this little piece and I'm going to stick it right there and cover that gap, which goes here. All right. And that's like one of the beauties of paisleys and patterns and stuff, because you just don't see when it's done if it's not perfect. So you can make something really creative and not have to worry about it looking like a work of art. Like decoupage looks great when it looks like a fucking Picasso, which I never understood. I mean, I do paintings and stuff. I just don't understand how. Like, I don't appreciate those abstract artists. I just never have. But not that I want to see dogs playing poker. So this, and I'm just going to keep adding more Modge Podge even as it dries. You're going to want several layers of this stuff on there, because the more layers you add, the stronger of a solid surface it makes when it's dry. And even the next day, sometimes I have so many layers of napkins and colors and Modge Podge going on that I literally have to stop because I can't see it anymore and wait till the next day or wait a few hours for the Modge Podge to dry because it dries clear. And then I can go back and layer more stuff if I want to. And so this, I want to get this done so that the neck looks smooth when it's finished. And I have a little lump of napkin that needs to be spread out. Okay. Now, you can't even see anything on this right now, but when it dries, it's going to look more like this one. I mean, this is the same napkin. that has the BN venue written on it. This one's just going to look a little bit different. And then I'm going to put some words on it that came on the napkin that I cut separately, but I want to close this little area here. And you go around, just keep spinning it around and making sure that everything has a really good thick layer of Modge Podge on it. And then I'm gonna, I can hear it crunching. You're not gonna hear it crunch. If the napkin crunches, it's too wet. It's too dry. You gotta get that thing wet. All right, so here's that. This is, and then, now I could be done with this, but then I feel like it's too easy. And it's like, so little effort put into it. It's going to be pretty, but I got to go jam it up. Sometimes I like to wreck them on purpose. Because then I'm like, and then go fix it and just add more shit. Or when I'm doing something like this one, I'm not going to do that. This just needs to be a clear, there's a whole purpose of it. So, but if you're making like a vase, look how many patterns I have on here. You can turn it around and say, oh, today it's peacocks. Turn it around and say, oh, now it's flowers and peonies. So I do tend to stick with color themes. And at least there's some sort of, I do have like a very loosely chosen theme. If it's like music notes or, piano and sheet music, or if it's chickens or birds, I will stick with that, or if it's going to be a specific color theme. But other than that, that's just my personal preference. You can pretty much do whatever you want. People are used to decoupage dressers. All right, so now I have a lot of Modge Podge on here. And then these are the little pieces of napkin that I cut that had the words. My fingers are sticky, so now I can just touch the napkin and pull off the backing a lot easier. And I think this one's 2 layers. Let me get this off my fingers. Yeah. So take that second layer off. Oops. Get a napkin stuck to my thumb. You can use tweezers if you need to. You can wear gloves. I don't, just because you can't, there's no way you keep your hands clean. If things start sticking to you like crazy, just go wash your hands. It's all water-based. So I'm going to put this here. And I might put this one. Yeah, I can still feel there are 2 layers there. Take this one off. Put that one. I'll put that one down here. Oh, I think I missed a spot. Look, I missed a spot. There's no Modge Podge there. Modge Podge, sorry, there's no napkin there. So I'm going to take, this is the pattern I was using at the bottom. This is an extra piece of napkin that I ripped off. So I'm just going to cover that like that. It doesn't matter it doesn't have to be the same size as the missing piece, because you won't notice it when it's done. All right, now I gotta turn it and go this way. Now that it's really wet and there's a lot of Modge Podge on there, you don't want to draw that brush from the end of the napkin in. You want to draw the napkin out when you're near the edges, or it'll just shred everything. And even though stuff is fixable, you don't want to have to keep fixing it. So that spot is now covered. And then sometimes if I want more Modge Podge, I can just tap it. And just sort of slap it on there. Slather it good. Now, all right. Now I can take my word. Where'd my word go? My word. Oh, it's stuck to my finger. All right, take this and just put it there. Oh, the napkin was dirty. Okay, pull that off. There we go. Now my fingers are starting to get messy, so I got to stop touching it. That's what she said. Does anybody have any questions? And we started out with so many more people, we lost a bunch. But you're either going to enjoy this or not. This one's almost done, and I'll show you a couple of fun other things that you can do with it that are quick, easy projects also. I'm not going to turn this into a work of art while This one says parfum. So I'm going to put this one over here. I'm going to leave them sticking up for now so that I can see them as I make my way around the base. And then I'll cover them with the rest of the Modge Podge after. I'm just randomly sticking them. Ooh, I guess that one's going there. But I'm going to show you either a dish. Now, I literally cut the corner of the napkins off because I just liked the pattern. I might not use it on this, but it might look cute if I stuck it at the top or like this way. You can put it anywhere you want. But every little piece of it is sort of usable. I took this off the bottom of the napkin because to me it looked like a trademark logo when it was in one whole piece. I just, of all the things on the napkin, the bottom piece, I just didn't like how it was written like that. So I took it off, but I can stick it back on somewhere else if I want. Is this another word? Yeah, this is the last word that I had cut off. And is that 2 layers? Yeah. Okay, get that one off. And then this last one, I just want to make sure I put the words right side up. And my glasses. Okay, well, I'm trying to read French, so I'm going to put this one up here. Okay, now I can go back. Now, because these are so tiny, I'm just going to very gently, more or less, tap them with excess Modge Podge. I'm not going to start spreading these all over the place because we've got wet Modge Podge underneath it. And then we have very thin, tiny pieces of napkin. And if you tear them, you know, you're messing up a word. And it's harder to fix. So you don't actually have to brush it. You can just tap it. And then I'm going to put this one aside. Because something just popped into my head. I'm like, I know what I want to do. I have a dish in my living room. In the sitting room. I love the dish. I don't know why. It's just a plain dish. It's got like some sort of like frosty turquoise exterior. And it's like gold on the inside. And there's nothing really special about it. It doesn't have like a unique shape. I just like it. I put candy in it. But I think I'm going to Modge Podge the outside of it just to change the color of it because it's a lighter turquoise and I want to go with a deeper teal. So I'm going to re-Modge Podge these wrinkles to make the wrinkles go smoother. And as it runs down, I want to make sure I clean up the bottom and any spaces where this looks like it needs a little more. You can just blob it on. And then once it's really wet, you can when it's really wet, you can stroke it. You can just slide your brush and smooth it out a little. Oh, I found a word that I didn't put Modge Podge on. Right, that one's done. There's a word. And because this stuff is pretty thick, it doesn't run a lot, but when you use a lot of it, it can tend to run down to the bottom a little, and that's fine. It's still going to dry clear. And you don't want to, you can smooth it out a little bit, but it's not always necessary. I have to watch this spot. This is the spot that I kept tearing. So I'm going to put some more Modge Podge on it, but I'm just going to sort of dab it. So if it gets a little runny, you can just, wipe it off with your brush very gently. And I found a couple of spots where the napkin didn't grab. It was like sticking up. That you don't really want because then it hardens that way. And if it's not adhered to the glass, you'll actually have a bubble where you can like see underneath it and it'll always stick out that way because it hardens that way. And there really isn't any fixing it, easily after that. So this is all done. And I want to put a little more in here. And I might even put another layer of Modge Podge on it after it's done drying. I'll assess it at that time and see if it needs a little more coverage. And you'll learn to tell. Oh, slap that on. Because I don't want the edge that's going over the top to come off while it's drying. And I want it really smooth and locked into place. And if it runs down the inside of the bottle, just let it. All right, there's that. Okay. And then that's not a missing spot, but there's a bubble here. Smooth this out. We got a little air bubble. get the air bubble out of the neck and wasn't laying flat. So I'm gonna get rid of that. This spot may have torn. So I'm gonna take a small piece of this and patch it, because it doesn't look like it's missing, but it looks like maybe I wiped it off and ripped the napkin in that spot earlier, and I'm just noticing it now. So I'm just gonna put a patch over it. All good. All right, and then I'm gonna put this to the side. And I will double check it. I just want to go around and make sure it's flat. The wrinkles don't matter so much, but you don't want air bubbles. And you don't want pieces that are sticking up that aren't perfectly flush on the glass, that's all. So this looks good. Let me just, there's a little air bubble there. Gotcha. Okay. And this is done, at least for now. It's hard to see it, but if you stick around long enough for me to do another one of those pieces that I was going to do something different with, this will start to dry, and you'll see the process of it becoming clear. And by the time it's done drying, you'll see the whole thing again. Like it will dry like this. So I'm going to get that dish, if you can bear with me. Do you guys have any questions so far? And if I wanted to, I've done this before also. I got this burlap stuff on clearance because I like the color. I could tie this around the neck of the bottle and then put a little bow and Modge Podge the fuck out of the burlap, and it dries hardened like that, so it won't ever come off, and it has a little shine to it. Does anybody want to see a chicken? I have a chicken that was severely injured last week, so she's been in the house with me. And her food's on the floor. She's eating it. I'm going to go see. I have a vase right here that I think I have a ribbon tied around. Give me a Raven. Oh, that is my baby. Here's Raven. Raven's my OG. She's the chicken I've had the longest. I operate a chicken rescue. And she got hurt last week, so she's in the house recouping. There you go. I want to see if I can find the vase. I have them in the cabinet. The other ones I've made. No, I don't have one with the burlap on it because I must have given it away. But this is one of my first decoupage vases also, and I just did a whole bunch of different patterns. So I got the flowers, and then I did a plain turquoise napkin at the top, and there's no pattern, but when you take the paper off the back, it's kind of thin and sheer. And then I have different flowers here. Is that a bird? No, that's a leaf. So you can do anything you want. And I've used this for flowers so many times. I've got it on the inside. It gets wet and it dries. So, I must have been ready to do. I've just found this in there. And I like this one. I'm going to do something with this at some point because I like the square shape. But for now, I wanted to show you something different. I'm going to grab the dish that's in the living room. And I can't, this is why live, you can't pause live. So give me 5 seconds. Okay, so this is the dish I was telling you about, and I'm debating. Let's see what you guys think. I'm down to one person. All right, let me take candy out. So I just like this dish. And I might not fuck with it. This is the outside. It's just a regular sort of matte frosty turquoise dish, but because they painted it gold on the inside, you can see through it, and I just like it. And I'm thinking that because of the way they designed this, if the napkins are really, really thin, not this one. There's a very slight difference, but a huge difference with, I got fucking Modge Podge on it. Let me put this here. Take this off. Shit. Okay. So I don't touch anything once I start doing it. I only leave the napkins out that you're using. Okay, look at this color. This is such a rich, and the camera's not picking it up properly, but you can see there's a pretty distinct difference between this one's more like a washed out sort of faded look. This is a really rich color, and I'm thinking that if I peel this and put Modge Podge around here, it's gonna look pretty fucking cool. So, and if it doesn't come out the way I want, I can always wipe it off and wash it off before it hardens. So I'm gonna size this. So one napkin over the whole bottom of the bowl, going over around the top, almost covers the whole thing. So I'm not gonna cut this napkin. This might be a really fast, easy project. And all it does is take something that is, you like it, but maybe you wanna see it freshened up, upcycled, renewed. You know, you don't wanna get rid of it, but you're sick of looking at it and you want it to look a little different. Then you can actually, I spray paint stuff if I need to refresh it or change it. But in this case, I'm gonna Modge Podge it. I'm gonna decoupage it with Modge Podge. So this, I think this still has another layer. And you know how I know that? It's ripped and there's white. There shouldn't be, it should be hollow. So, is there? Ah, there is. This is thin. This napkin's gonna be really sheer when I get it separated, which is, for this particular project, I definitely want, because I don't want the napkin to be so thick that you lose that clear shine through. See how the colors shine through the bowl? Wait, where was it? Like that. I want to keep that. If the napkin is really dark and thick, it's gonna cover that up. There's a chance the light could still shine through it, but look at this. This is going to be really thin. I can see through it. I'm glad I checked. I'm glad I ripped it. Because if I didn't rip it, I wouldn't have realized that it was white in the hole, where it should have been a hole. And I may have put it on like that, and it would have stayed. But if you have 2 layers of napkin, and you stick it on a Modge Podge vase, and then you start Modge Podging over it, it can actually come off, and when it does, it's because the base layer is what's sticking, this one, and then your pattern can sometimes come off. So that's one of the reasons you gotta peel this off. Plus, it looks better when it doesn't have the white background coming through. So this is where I got Modge Podge on it and starting to dry, so that's why it tore. But because that piece is still attached, I can smooth it out with my brush, and you won't see the tear. So that goes in the garbage. See how sheer? You can pretty much, and then this little piece that is ripped, see how it's ripped? It's still hanging on. I'll just close that off. So I'm going to cover this with Modge Podge, and I am going to do the bottom because it's a very small bottom. It's this particular purpose. I do part of a vase, not the whole thing, but I always wrap the edges. This thing has to be done all around. But I don't want to go over the top with the napkin on this one, because I'm not going to have it even on the inside. It's not like a vase. You have a vase in there. You're not going to see it. The neck is narrow. This is a big bowl. I don't want random jagged edges folded over this. So I'm going to make sure that I put a lot of Modge Podge around the top, not on the inside. Because once the napkin gets on there and the Modge Podge gets the napkin all wet and it starts to like soak it up, I'll wait a little while for the napkin to get like really soft and mushy, and then I can peel the edge around the top and it will come off as if I've cut it. And it makes it easier than trying to cut the napkin to just stop at the edge. That's not happening. So, and I'm leaving a spot for my hand. I'll add more Modge Podge as I get around to that side. So I've got just enough on here to get this so the napkin sticks. And by the way, I don't know if you see how much Modge Podge I keep loading up and using. It looks like a lot. This is not a new container. I've used this container, not a lot, but a few times before. And it's still full. Oh, it's like right here. you're not using nearly as much as it appears. That stuff goes a long way for like $5 or $6 for the large container. They sell smaller containers also, which I used to buy in the beginning because I didn't think I would do this much with it, but I just love it. So I'm going to tap around here and make sure. And I will let the napkin bend to the inside so I know it's completely fused to the glass, but I'm just not going to wrap it and have it inside. So I'm going to put this here. And here's the spot that was ripped. All fixed. And then I'm going to give it a tiny gentle tug to get it to get flat. And then I'm just going to use the brush for the rest of it. And this one I'm going to try not to get wrinkles and see if I can keep it smooth. There's like a wrinkle here, and I'm going to just tug. And then afterwards, smooth it out in the direction towards the end, kind of like contact paper. And I'm going to go up this side and smooth out that wrinkle. And then this one might be easier to keep it flat because it's a very wide circle versus going around a tight vase. It's harder to keep it smooth. Okay, and right now I'm just going to rest my hand inside of it so that I gotta find the spot that I didn't Modge Podge. Here it is. And get some underneath. Oh, okay. And now I hope this comes out cool because I like this bowl, but I wanted to just make something different out of it. Welcome to, oh, hi from Algeria. We've gone international. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. So I'm going to fix this, and then you can cut it. So I don't normally like to, but because I want this one to be wrinkle free, this is where you're going to wind up having a wrinkle. So I'm just going to cut straight up and make a seam, and then it's got to go a little further. This is why you don't use your scissors as a screwdriver and snap them, because I can't reach in there with the sharp point and cut a little higher up. Then I'm going to peel this one back, flatten that one out, and then I can just put this one right over it. You don't even have to cut it off. You're just giving it a seam and smooth it that way. I don't care if the pattern isn't, you won't notice the pattern. I didn't want this particular piece to be wrinkled is all. A lot of the decoupage stuff can come out wrinkled, and that's part of the process or the aesthetics of it. But sometimes you need to have it smooth. And I think this is one of them for me. And I'm just going to go around the bottom of the bowl and keep smoothing it. Adding Modge Podge as I go. Lots of Modge Podge. If there are like one or two minor wrinkles around the bottom, the very bottom of the bowl where you're not going to see it, that's fine. I just don't want the sides where you can, when it's on the table and you're looking at it, where you can see the wrinkles. But if there's one, a little one across the bottom, it doesn't really matter. And now I have another one I have to cut. This one I'm going to cut. And I think I'm going to cut, let's see. No, I don't have to cut that, but I'm going to peel this back and flatten this piece. But I do have to cut higher. Otherwise, I will still have there we go. Otherwise, I'm still going to have a wrinkle. Peel this back. I'm going to stick this piece down and go over that one like a flap. And then smooth it like that. There's a tiny wrinkle, and sometimes you can ever so slightly give it a little tug, and very gently, if you have enough Mod Podge underneath it, you can slide the wrinkle out without tearing the napkin. And now this, I'm going to pull back, lay this one flat, and then put that one back over it, eliminating that wrinkle. See, now it's smooth. I have to, you can just see these little wrinkles here. Is that, yeah. I'm going to get more Modge Podge. And I'm going to try to draw the napkin down. Oh, I tore it, so I got to pull that one back up. All right. So you just have to be careful when it starts getting wrinkly like this. Really close to see. There's like veins in it. The tissue is very wet. And so if you want to move it around, you have to be more careful, and it's going to require more Modge Podge, because if the brush is too dry, it's just going to shred that tissue. All right, this looks really cool. Well, so far, let's see how it looks when it's dry. Now, I just have to finish going around this, and then I'm going to show you the neck, the base of the bowl, where I didn't want the Modge Podge, or I didn't want the napkin to go over the top, and I just want. Oh my gosh! Okay, are you guys still here? Are you guys still here? I lost my feed. I'm sorry. I had my phone plugged in to the charger, and I guess it didn't make a connection, and my phone shut off because the battery died, and I can't to get back to the same live feed and resume it without having to start a new one. So in the meantime, I just continued painting, putting the Modge Podge on, and now I'm going to show you that I'm just going to tear the napkin like this so that I don't have any missing, but it ends exactly at the top of the dish. Let me spin this. Okay. I'll put a little more on the edges to get it nice and moist. I'm so proud of myself right now. I mean, I'm very upset that I didn't notice my phone was charging and then it like disconnected from the charger. But I've always had so many issues with technology that I cannot believe I was able to resume my live feed. I thought I was going to have like an hour and then like a 5-minute one, because I'm wrapping up and I'm almost done. All right, so I definitely want the weight of the Modge Podge to tear. This is where you want the Modge Podge to just tear the napkin. So let me spin this again. I'm going to put a little right along the edge, and anywhere there isn't, okay. And now continue tearing it. Okay. Oop. I'm going to turn this. All right, I may have to cut that because it's such a small piece, and if I tug it, it's moving. Oh shit, it's moving the napkin. So let me smooth this spot out where the napkin moved. Oops. So I can always trim those little tiny pieces there. Did I? Okay, I thought I ripped it. I didn't. All right, let me get this one. I'm going to tear this little piece here. Okay. Oh, I did pull that. I did tear that. There we go. Oh, I got to slow down. I'm trying to finish up and wrap up so I don't keep you any longer, but I need to be really, this is like a, you got to be really careful trying to do this, and I'm sort of rushing a little. I need to stop with this. paper will actually stretch a little. So when this gets really wet like this, the napkin can actually, you know, the fibers in it will give a little. And so you can wind up with wrinkles in places where it was nice and taut earlier. But because it's getting dragged all over, it'll stretch a little tiny bit. I don't want it to. Let me get Modge Podge here. And then I'm just taking a bowl that I already had that I loved and making it more unique. And one of the beauties of this is that no one is ever going to have the same piece. You know, there's nothing worse than walking into someone's house and seeing the same shit that's for sale in every fucking store and the same wall decor and having nothing unique. So that's one of the reasons why I like to just make a lot of my own shit. All right, I'm going to see if this scissor will just cut these little remaining pieces off. Yep. Okay. Spin this around. Okay. I think I got all of it. And now it's so short around the edges, like there might be like little teeny tiny fibers that are sticking there. That is not big enough that it will wrap the edge. So I'm safe. I wanna seal the edge so it doesn't ever peel off. So now I'm just going to very gently add Modge Podge to the edge with the napkin. And it won't go inside, but it'll give it a clean, finished look rather than having the edge be jagged. And once I'm done and I'm able to turn this over, if I got any Modge Podge on the inside of this bowl, like even a little bit, I'm going to wipe the interior right around the top of the edge so the Modge Podge doesn't go past the lip of the bowl but covers the edge. Because it's like little teeny tiny fibers. So what I'll do with those is just sort of shove them so they stay at the edge of the bowl but not over it. And if any of the Modge Podge gets inside, I'll wipe it out. All right, there we go. I got the whole thing around the edge done, and I can see, if you see how the inside has like some spots that need to be cleaned up. I can use a wet sponge or like a wet paper towel. I don't think I'm going to put any wet paper near it right now, though. I will use my fingers. I'm going to wash my hands first. Have to wash my hands. And then I can just take a wet sponge and not touch the very thin edge, but just on the inside, get the Modge Podge out of the interior. I might be able to just do it like this. Yeah. And just clean it up so it's not on the inside. And then see how there's a little drip? You can just touch that. Better off with the back of your finger, though. There you go. And now I'm going to put this on top of my candle over here, inside out, like, you know, upside down, so it can dry. Okay. And now I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, because my hands are free, I can actually go around again and just make sure this little piece is sticking out. And now that I'm not holding it so awkwardly, I can smooth out a few spots that might need to be smoothed out. And that's pretty much it. I have Modge Podge all over the container. If you let it dry, you can peel it off, or I'm just going to wipe off the lid, put the lid on. I'll wipe off the edges, put the lid on, and then I'll just rinse the whole container. But when it dries, it's kind of fun and satisfying to just peel off the stuff that dries too, like the paste when you were a kid. So you're not gonna hurt anything with this stuff, and it's all water based, so my paintbrush isn't ruined. I'm just gonna go wash with soap and water. If you guys have any questions or comments. Who's is it Syed Homra? I got like a whole I got a bunch of welcome. I got a bunch of stuff that it won't say anything. It says private. If you're trying to say something, I didn't get it. Close that. It's doing that AI thing again. Welcome to live chat. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my hands quick. Does anybody? We have 3 people here. Anybody have any questions? And I'll show you. This is starting to dry. The original vase that I did, so you can see the pattern on it. It's starting to come out, especially on the edges over here. As it dries, it will lighten and it will dry clear. But I really need to. I can't touch anything because I have the Modge Podge in my hands. So if you guys don't have any questions or comments, then I will say goodbye for now. I'm actually going to touch up a spot that looks like it's drying, or there's not enough Modge Podge on it on the original base. So you can go back and add some, and it will blend and still dry at the same time. Feel free to hit like and subscribe, please. I'm aiming to get just a little bit further. I'm like, I was happy when I got 7 subscribers. That was an exciting day. And I'm on my way to 700. So if you guys want to hit like and subscribe, I would love that. And check out some of my other videos. Some of them are funny. Some of them will drive you nuts. And some might be useful. All right. Thanks very much, guys. I'm going to go. Have a great day. Oh, this is fun. You can actually forget washing my hands. I'm going to let it dry and peel it off. That's so fucking satisfying. And I'll have to vacuum again. Yeah, I'm gonna wind up peeling it. Have a great day. How do I hit stop?